The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the new products webinar for the CP5 series. I'm Chris Harmon. I'm the Regional Sales Manager and Product Marketing Manager for PULS LP. If you have any questions, you'll be able to answer them in the question pane. You might need to click on the orange arrow to open up the question pane. I will answer those questions at the end of the webinar. Additionally, this afternoon, you should all receive another email with a link to the recording of this webinar. I'll also put the recordings of the webinar on the PULS intranet for later use if you'd like. So let's get started. So today we'll be talking about the CP5 series. In all, we've released 7 models, which is substantially more than we had in previous CS or QS versions. So the 7 models include a 12-volt unit, 5 24-volt units, the standard CP5 241 with screw terminals.
Chris, we're not seeing your screen right now.
Okay.
There you go.
Sorry about that, folks. So the 7 models are the 12-volt version, the standard 24-volt CP5 241, as well as the conformal coated version, the spring clamp terminal option, and a new push-in terminal option, which started in Europe for automated assembly of control panels. There's a extended DC input version, the CP5 242, and a 48-volt version. So the CP5 series, it's your first choice. Some new features in the CP5 include improved efficiency and power density, screw and spring clamp, as well as push-in terminal options, Class 1 Division 2 from UL, which is different from previous versions which have Class 1 Division 2 from CSA, and it is ATEX and IECEX by design. As with the CP10 and CP20 series, it's really a combination of the CS series with 20% power boost. Screw terminals are standard options, and it's cost competitive. The QS series has active PFC, which is now in the CP5 series, the wide range input versus the auto select input, AC input, and most importantly, the DC OK signal contact, which was not included on the CS series. So some of the key differentiators, as explained, are the 100 to 240 volts AC wide range input, active power factor correction, a shallower depth than the CS5 and QS5 series. It's only 102 millimeters, so that's the same size as the CD5. Again, excellent efficiency and partial load efficiencies. And really the key thing, in my view, is the DC OK relay contact. Previously, we had to move up to a QS series in the 5 amp if we wanted the DC OK contact. So here are some key differentiators between the CP5, the CS5, and the QS5 series. If we look at the width, it's very difficult to have a 5 amp power supply much narrower than we did in the CS5, and that's because of the screw terminals. We always put in larger screw terminals and wire terminals, so you really can't get much narrower than 32 millimeters. The lifetime is extensively higher than both the CS5 and QS5 series. And as you know, the lifetime expectancy is based on the electrolytic capacitors. Very low losses, which of course is due to the high efficiency. What I like to differentiate in the standard .241 unit, which would be either a CP5.241, CS5.241, or QS5.241. If you look at the models that are available in all of those CP5s, there's 7 CP5 units that are available versus 5 CS5s and 3 QS5s. So the options are much greater in the CP5 series. Again, in our data sheets, this would be a typical efficiency and power losses graph for the CP5.241. And you'll notice the partial load graph. If you look at, say, 3 amps, you still have very high efficiency levels, which is key. Of course, we have the 20% power reserves. So the 12-volt unit, which is rated nominally at 10 amps, can produce 12 amps as long as the ambient temperature remains 45 degrees C or below. The 5 amp unit can produce 6 amps, again, with the same specifications. The 48-volt unit is limited to 11%. So 2.5 amp nominally can produce 3 amps at 45 degrees C or lower. As with all of our products, we provide peak power capabilities, either to start up a demanding load or to trip a protective device on a faulty output branch. So the CP5 24-volt unit can provide 15 amps for 12 milliseconds before the voltage starts to dip. It can provide 5 times the nominal output current for 5 milliseconds. Again, both to help trip faulty circuits or start up demanding loads, say a contactor or a solenoid. What differentiates the CP5 from the CS5 and QS5 is the safe hiccup plus mode. Typically, in the CS5, in an overload condition, the voltage will drop as the current demand goes up, and it will fold forward until it drops. With safe hiccup plus mode, we provide approximately 50% more energy. That is used to try to clear the fault. Let's say it's a motor that's bound up. We can provide additional energy. That will last for 2 seconds. If that fault is not fixed, the output current will drop to near zero, and that will last for 18 seconds. It will then start up again, try to clear the fault, and again for 2 seconds, and if it doesn't, it will drop down. This does 2 things. One, helps to try to attempt to clear the fault. If not, it will then at least give notification that there's something wrong with the system, and an operator can go fix that fault. Wide range of approvals. Of course, CE, UL, according to 61010-2-201 versus UL 508. Later this month, we will have an agency approval changes webinar in which we will discuss that, as well as the changes to UL for Class 1 Division 2. Of course, it is ATEX approved for Zone 2 applications and IECEX approved for Zone 2 applications. Here's some comparisons for some of our competitors. And you may have seen some of these comparisons that we've done for the CP10 series, as well as the CP20 series. And this gives you a good indication of some of our major competitors, including the new Phoenix Quint 4, longer life, smaller, more efficient, less weight. Of course, we all know that that's what PULS tries to do. Okay, that is the conclusion of the webinar. I will now open it up if anyone has any questions. And it appears that there are. Let's see. Do you have the ATEX and IECEX certs? Yes, Wayne. Those are located on the PULS internet. If you go into the landing page for the CP5 units, then you will go down to the approval sections and you can pull the certificates from there. If they're not there, contact your regional sales manager and let us know. They should be there. What accounts for the great reduction in the number of parts used for the CP5? Ray, that's a question that I'll probably have to have Ed ask for. I don't know that I understand the answer.
Yeah, Ray, the number of components that makes up the CP5, we are doing newer and newer topologies. So instead of using discrete components, you are using more and more microprocessors and other computing type devices. So of course, with lower number of components, it increases the efficiency, can decrease the board size itself, and allow us to give other options to add to that. So I hope that helps.
Thanks, Ed. Are these units UL approved? Yes, Al, they are. Not to UL 508, as we'll discuss in a future webinar. UL 508 will be going away, I believe, end of 2020. That date has moved several times, but we are with the CP5 series and rolling in CP10 or other products that are already in existence. We will go from UL 508 to 61010-2-201. So they are UL approved. On our website, there is a document, a white paper on agency changes. There's a long version and a short version, which you can review and download. There's really nothing that we need to do or you need to do other than just being aware that PULS is on the leading edge of this change. How do our price points compare to IDEC? Well, certainly the CP5, we made the pricing similar to our CS series. Compared to IDEC, you know, that is a very low price point product. So the question is, how do we combat that? We certainly combat it with the lifetime. If you compare the lifetime of a PULS product compared to an IDEC, it is substantially greater. The efficiency levels, of course, are much greater. So less energy, less heat, that of course is longer lifetime. So like with any, I use the term El Cheapo, but with any product like that, you have to combat it with certain things, whether that's technology, whether that's our inventory position. So certainly IDEC has a lower price point, but we can beat it. We can beat it certainly with the things that I talked about, but also if you have an opportunity, talk to your regional sales manager and they can work with you on options for pricing. Are all styles in stock? Yes, all styles are in stock. The comparison chart, which people are wanting, yes, you can get that. So the PowerPoint presentation will be in the PULS intranet. So you'll be able to actually pull the full PowerPoint presentation. If you'd like the comparison chart individually, I certainly can send that to you. Just send me an email, chris.harmon@puls-us.com. Are they all in stock and available? Yes, they are. Questions, does running continuous at 20% above rated affect life? It does not, as long as the ambient temperature is 45 degrees C or below. Now, the lifetime chart, there is a section, it would be different than running at full load, not 20%, and there's different temperature ranges, but it does not affect the life that's listed on the data sheet. Will conformal coated units be available? Yes, already available in the standard CP5.241-C1. I don't anticipate other models being available in conformal coated. Would you put the comparison slide back up? I certainly can do that. Let's do this. Read through all the questions. Will you be sending out a copy of the presentation? Again, yes, that will be on the PULS intranet. I won't be sending out the presentation, but it'll be on the PULS intranet, which you can sign up for. It's in the resources tab. And we've got a question here. Also, in hiccup mode, does the power supply always attempt to restart after an overload, or is there a limited number of times?
No, the unit will be off under anytime the output voltage drops below, we'll use 24 volts as an example, below 14 volts, then it will go into the hiccup plus. It will shut down for 18 seconds, and then it will make an attempt to start for 2 seconds. That will continue until the power supply itself is de-energized, and the average between the 2 seconds on and the 18 seconds off greatly reduces the average RMS current, so you don't have to worry about it turning on and off and affecting your load. It will definitely have a lower average RMS current. So there's no issues with it continually operating for 2 seconds until either the power supply is turned off by AC or the fault itself clears.
Thanks, Ed. Do any of them have serial communication? No, they don't. Not in this series. There are some discussions of plans for various options for some type of either display or communication. I know IO Link has been discussed in Germany, and of course, we certainly would love to have those, but not at this time. Robert asks, how does the pull-out force of the new push-in terminals compare to the screw and spring clamp terminals? Robert,
Chris, I'll take that.
Yep.
Yeah, Robert, the key thing to look at on any of the products, we got that quite a bit when we released the Q series of, hey, can those spring clamps really hold a wire tight? Well, every product that's UL listed, either to 508 or 61010, there are mandates in the codes and standards that says a particular wire, will say 14 gauge or 12 gauge, it has to withstand a certain Newton meters force. So the answer is they are equal in all values when it regards to the safety portion of UL. Of course, a screw, if you over torque it, will definitely hold tighter than any spring clamp or push-in, but it meets all the requirements of codes and standards.
Thanks, Ed. Question on UL 61010 was, is it something that we were ahead of the curve? Who isn't? What I do know is that Siemens, Phoenix Contact, and PULS were ahead of the curve in Europe. The question that I'm really going to be looking to see is down the line, what do companies like Meanwell or Omron or IDEC, what do they do in regards to that? I don't know, but I do know that in Europe, because we were on the board for that change, as well as some staffers, I think from Siemens and from Phoenix Contact, I know that we are ahead of the game. For those who asked for the comparison chart, it is up now, so you can see that. If you'd like, I can print this in a PDF fashion and put that on the PULS intranet as well. Are there plans for a CP 1.5, 2.5, and CP 3.5? No, not that I'm aware of. Great question. Is there any reason why we should sell the CS5 CP5 QS series with the release of the CP5? So that is a great question. There is no reason now to specify really any CS5 product. There aren't as many available. Certainly the technology in the CP5 can cover all of the bases that were there in the CS5. With respect to the QS series, there may be applications where a QS5 is the right choice. If they need the 4 seconds, the 50% power reserves for 4 seconds to start a motor load, something of that nature, that could be certainly the right pick. I always say CP5 is your first choice. It's really the place to start. But there can be applications where a QS5 might be the right choice. There are some competitors that are not listed, like a Meanwell. Can I get a comparison on those? Certainly I can work on that. I did not put the Meanwell SDR or MDRs up there, but I can. It just takes a little bit of work. Rick Gibson, yes, a PDF. I will put that PDF on there for you. Great, great. Is the Emerson SVL the same as the Delta DRL? It is. So Delta makes that product for Sola. And we have the specifications on that because in Germany we did the comparisons for the DRL. How do we compete with Rhino? I have a customer using those from Automation Direct. Well, from a price standpoint, it's going to be very difficult. If, however, especially in this time where supply chains have been kind of turned off a little bit, do they have product available? If somebody's using Rhino, they typically use it because it's the ease of getting it. Where is CP5 manufactured? It is manufactured in the Czech Republic. In fact, about 98% of the product that we have in North America is made in the Czech Republic. We did that because of the tariff situation with China. All right, and Keith, thank you. He says, I really like the inrush comparison. Excellent. All right. So those are the last of the questions. Again, I'd like to thank you for your time. Just to remind everybody, we will have some future webinars. We're going to have a built-in redundancy webinar coming shortly. And as I mentioned earlier, there will be an agency approvals webinar. So again, thank you very much. If you have any additional questions, you can reach out to myself, Ed Merkel, our engineering manager, or your regional sales manager. Thanks and have a great day, everybody. Stay safe, and hopefully we'll all get through this very difficult time soon. So thanks so much, and have a great day.